What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I thought we would tackle an issue that even Sir Isaac Newton himself would have a difficult time understanding, and that is the golf handicap. This year I really started taking golf more serious and was like, how do I figure out what my golf handicap is? Sure, there are apps that will, calculate it for you. There's a bunch of good resources like the GIN, I think it's at GIN or GIN, GHIN, Golf Handicap Index. You post your scores on there and it will automatically do all this for you. But for the sake of understanding what a golf handicap index is, I'm going to make this video and try to simplify how the golf handicap is actually calculated. So when I first started playing golf, or when I first started keeping track of scores and things like that, I always thought a handicap was like, okay, if I shoot 10 over par or 12 over par, then I'm a 10 or 12 handicap. But that is not exactly how a handicap system works, because every golf course is not created the same, right? Some golf courses are harder than others, some are easier. So what you really are calculating is what's called a score differential. So some things that you'll need to calculate a score differential. I'm sure every scorecard from every golf course has them on there, but there's slope ratings and course ratings right here on the ratings. So you can see all these different ratings. So this first one, the first side, the lower digit number that's usually around like a 70 or 75, that is the course rating. So say this is a 73.1. So the course rating is what an average, so like out of 100 scratch golfers, the average score would be like a 73.1 from those tees on that course, from that yardage, around a 73.1. And here's kind of where I was also confused. So the slope rating, what I always thought a slope rating was how many hills, how steep is the course, but it really actually has nothing to do with the elevation or changes in elevation of the golf course or the slope of the fairways or anything like that. So the slope rating is actually, it's the difference between like a bogey golfer and a scratch golfer scores. So like a scratch golfer would shoot this, and then a bogey golfer shoots this. What is that slope number? Like an actual mathematical slope between the difference between the two. So the higher the slope, that means the bogey golfer shot a lot higher scores than the scratch golfer on that course. So that means the higher the slope rating, the more difficult that course is for a bogey golfer or a mid to high handicap golfer. There is a specific formula to calculate your score differential. So let's dive in actually, and let's do one to try to calculate a score differential, and then go through what the USGA shows how to use those score differentials to figure out what your handicap is. Okay, so here we are using the whiteboard. So we're going to do a live example. So I just shot the other day, I shot a 75. There's my gross score. And so what you'll do is you'll take your score, and then you'll look on the back, okay, at this course rating and the slope rating for the course that you played. So I played Silo Willow from the Blue Tees, and it is a 72.7 course rating, 125 slope rating. Okay, so what we'll use those numbers for is to calculate here a score differential. So that's what we're calculating here for our round, is a score differential. So the formula for our score differential, you take average gross score, you subtract it from the course rating, and then you multiply that times 113. That is the average slope rating for all the golf courses across the country. And then you will divide this total number that you get here by the actual slope rating of the course that you just played. We'll take this score, so we shot a 75 minus our course rating of a 72.7 times 113, and then we will divide that by the slope rating of this course, which was 125, okay? And I'll do some math here, use a calculator. 75 minus 72.7 is 2.3, multiply that times 113, this is the number you get. Then you divide that by the actual slope rating of the course we played, which was a 125. That leaves you a 2.0. And you'll round it to the nearest decimal, so that would be 2.1. So my actual score differential from this round of 75 is a 2.1. That would be your actual handicap number. So that's how you calculate the score differential. And then once you start building those score differentials up, you will actually take the averages of those differentials and figure out what your handicap is. So you don't use every score for your golf handicap. There's a table on the USGA website that kind of breaks it down when you first start calculating your score differentials, and I'll show you that now on the computer. So here's a look at the table that I was talking about So this just tells you how, once you have a certain amount of score differentials, which you can see over here on the left, this column down here on the left side. So once you have 3 differentials, you'll take the lowest one and you'll adjust it by subtracting 2 from it. That will be your current handicap at that time when you only have 3 scores. So what you'll do is really when you get a true handicap is when you get 20 completed rounds, you'll average your lowest 8 differentials for those 20 rounds, and no adjustments will be made. So your average of your lowest 8 rounds out of your most recent 20 rounds of golf is your actual golf handicap. So here is an example of how I keep mine. I just keep it on a Google Sheet here. So I got the date I played. So these that are not in red are all my last 20 rounds. And here's the scores that I shot, and then calculating the differentials, and the differentials are right here on this right column. So once I have my lowest, 8, which are the ones in green, those are my lowest 8 score differentials out of my last 20 rounds that I've played, which are these rounds right here. So the lowest differentials, I average those out, and that shows me that my current handicap is a 1.7 based off of these 8 scores, these 8 differentials, which is my 8 best rounds. So when you look at your lowest 8 out of your last 20 rounds, it can be a little deceiving because it shows me as a 2 handicap, whereas if I keep a running total of at the average of all of my score differentials for all of my rounds, I'm actually closer to probably like an 8 handicap on, just using all the scores. But when you get to pick your lowest 8 out of the last 20, it's significantly lower. You can lower your handicap pretty quick once you progress. So I started this year at a 9 handicap. Started playing February. Now we're in September, and I am at a 2. So once you post, if you play once or twice a week, couple rounds, and your scores are getting better and better and better, once you get 8 of your 20 that are pretty solid scores, you can actually lower your handicap pretty quick. But that is the breakdown. It's a very complex system that USGA has to calculate your handicap, but the GHIN website is the best way. I mean, just go on there. You literally click, post your scores, and it calculates your score differential for you and updates your handicap. But I thought it would be a good video to kind of break down how to calculate it if you wanted to do it. A handicap is a word that's thrown around all the time that people, I feel like, honestly, a lot of people don't really know what it is, or how it's calculated. So that's just kind of a breakdown of how the handicap system works. And then, if you found something valuable in this video, maybe you learned something, be sure to like this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you like golf content. Go check out some of the videos on my channel and see what you think. Again, I appreciate any support. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.